So welcome everyone to take time to join us tonight. My name is Cindy. I'm the host tonight. So Gary, I see two more people are waiting in the waiting room right now.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay, yeah. So tonight is the 11th session of meeting the candidates virtual Zoom events, which are organized by MICCA. So just in case you are not aware of what is MICCA, MICCA stands for Michigan Conservative Chinese Americans. It was founded in year 2018. The organization has been actively involved in the election process by supporting Republican candidates. So MICCA's goal is to improve the voting rate among Chinese American community and promote awareness that the GOP platform is highly consistent with the value with the majority of our Chinese American who has been experienced with disasters of socialism before we came to this great country. In the past few years, MICCA organized different activities from recruiting precinct delegates to phone banking, poll challenging, etc., etc. And also we organized a fundraising event for Bill Schuette for his campaign. So to prepare for the year 2022 midterm election, we organized this meeting the candidates event. So all our voters in primary or in state convention can know better and know more of each candidate before they vote for anyone. So tonight, we will meet Kevin Rinke, who will compete for Michigan governor in the 2022 midterm election. So now I will hand the speaker to Kevin. So Kevin, please go ahead.
Well, I'd like to say hello to everybody and thank you for taking the time to listen to me. My name's Kevin Rinke, and I would like to be the next governor of Michigan, the 50th governor in the history of our great state. And I'll take a few moments tonight to tell you about my family's history, which went back to the days before Michigan was a state. On my mother's side, my family were traders with the French in Fort Detroit back in the 1700s. And as the country evolved and Michigan evolved, on my father's side, we were in the farm and implement business, and we rented horse-drawn carriages back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. We worked with a gentleman by the name of Bill Durant, who was one of the founders of General Motors. And when we stopped renting Durant horse-drawn carriages, we started selling Durant automobiles, which were GM automobiles. And we were one of the first franchised auto dealerships in North America and in Michigan. 4 generations later, I'm proud to tell you that my family still represents General Motors, and we've had a wonderful history. My reason and rationale for being a candidate for governor is purely to give back to the state of Michigan. That I would like to be a civil servant, and I think that government has not represented the people in this state appropriately. I think that it has been partisan, it has been autocratic, and all at the expense of what Michigan stands for in the Michigan that I know and love. And that's why I'm running. A quick story. I was talking with my wife and son about leaving the state. And my son said to me, "Dad, why don't you fix it? You do things for people and you get them results. You can fix Michigan." And the nicest thing a 23-year-old could ever say. And that's what got me going in this campaign. I've traveled all over the state. I've spoken to many, many people in many different aspects of life and how they participate in Michigan. And what I've found is that It's not, are you a Republican or a Democrat necessarily, because I'm finding that there are many, many Democrats who are very conservative. And I happen to be a very conservative individual. I believe in family. I believe in supporting my children. I believe in our Constitution, both at the federal level as well as the state level. And I understand that a governor, his role is actually to be the CEO of the state. And to do that, you have to represent all of the state. But I also understand that I don't need to sacrifice conservative values to do that. And because I have never aspired to be an elected politician, I think that's what sets me apart. In this particular cycle, there's 13 Republicans that are running for governor, and many of them are well-intended. Many of them are single-issue politicians. I'm about doing for the people and giving back. And I'd like to take a moment and talk about my career, because it's very, very important when you talk about a governor being qualified and what makes you qualified. And to be the CEO of the state of Michigan, you have to have private business experience, and you've had to have operated those businesses successfully. And I've experienced that. I've employed thousands of people in my career, in my private businesses, and I've also participated in public businesses. I've been fortunate to be business partners with business icons and community icons like Roger Penske and Bruton Smith. I've worked in the automotive industry, and I've also worked in the healthcare industry. And interestingly enough, I've been able to grow businesses, provide jobs to the people, to provide environments for them to be successful in. And I've developed over my 35 years a very specific way of interacting and operating a business that I would apply to the state of Michigan. You see, leaders create an environment for the people to be successful in that they lead. And they provide 5 elements. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? Who do you go to for help? How are you doing along the way? And what's in it for you? And when my baseline is, I believe in providing equal opportunity and allowing for the outcomes to be determined by those people who choose to accept the opportunity, we can create a dynamic Michigan that doesn't rank 42nd nationally when it comes to post-COVID economies, that doesn't lead the nation in small businesses closed and jobs lost, that doesn't have children who are failing in our school systems or restricted by school systems that don't believe in high achievement and rewarding equally children by their results instead of looking at race or looking at gender as a criteria. We need to let the best rise to the top if we want to be the best. And I'm going to support that completely. So with that, I have the conservative values of a conservative. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-Second Amendment. I happen to believe in our Constitution, and I have an agenda, and it's a common sense agenda that will benefit you. It has 6 areas to it. It deals with the environment. It deals with the business climate. It deals with education. It deals with law and order. It deals with infrastructure. And it is about making Michigan successful for all of us in the best place to be. And with that, Cindy, I'd like to really answer questions from your audience.
Okay. Really thank you, Kevin, for you share your idea and your family history with us. So I think now we can start interact with Kevin. So if any of you have any question or suggestion or some comment, please raise your hand using the reactions icon or just type in the chat window. Okay, so, okay, I see a couple hands already. So, yeah, so Gary, can you help to unmute? Ri Hua, I think you are first one, and Ning, you are the second one. Raise a hand for questions.
So guess I'm the lucky one, right?
Yeah, you are the first. You are quick.
How are you today?
Okay.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for talking to us. And it's a really privilege, for you to come to talk to us, okay? And when you first push out your ad, I've been following you, to see what you're going to do. I have a question regarding the education. I see that you put 8 issues on your website. Mm-hmm. And you list education and critical race theory. Mm-hmm. Thank you to me, this, critical race theory is a part of the crisis we have right now in our education system, right? And yes. Yeah, for the education, you mentioned the school choice. I would like to provide more details. What you want to do with the school choice?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I'm about the children having an opportunity to get exceptional results. And currently in public schools, we don't hold the teacher or the school system accountable for those results. And in a perfect world, I would like to negotiate accountability with very, very apparent measures that parents can see and their children can see that don't restrict them, because we have accelerated kids that deserve to move ahead quicker than other kids. We have children that are a little slower, and we can't give up on those folks, but we shouldn't hold kids back at the same time. So there are accountability levels that need to be put into the schools. And in Michigan currently, if you happen to live in a bad neighborhood with a poor performing school, you're stuck. And I think that's wrong. So I talk about charter schools. I talk about schools of choice. And remember this, charter schools are public schools that currently get much better results than just the standard public school. And it's because teachers are incentivized. The kids are able to think critically and challenge and experience interaction that they're restricted from in a general school population. So what we have to do is we have to deal with the existing laws that are on the books, okay? And they restrict charter schools currently. I would like to strike that. And I would also like to put the money on the kids' backs. And what I mean by that is if parents aren't satisfied with the school in their zip code that they would traditionally be assigned to, that they have a right to go out and look at other schools, because it's about your child getting the best education that works for them, not being pushed through a process that is standardized.
Yeah, so if we choose to send our children not to the charter school, but to the, does that mean the dollars goes with my child?
I'm sorry, ma'am, you broke up and I did not hear your question.
Okay, so if I chose to send my child to a private school instead of a charter school, will the money goes with my child?
Currently, that is not within the rules or the laws of the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
And I believe that there should be some form of credit that you receive. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain, candidly, if it would be a full credit for the money that the state would traditionally spend or a partial credit. But I do believe that there should be a reward if you choose to go to a private school rather than you having to pay taxes that are collected and not have access for your child.
Yeah, I just know that from my children, because I put my children into private school, we get nothing from, nothing. Okay.
It's currently the case. I went to public schools when I graduated from high school and grade school in Michigan. I sent my kids to private schools. So I've experienced what you're talking about, and I've never thought that it was right, candidly.
Okay.
And
I just want to, I do not know whether you heard it or not. People are really concerned with the school choice, the conservative voices, because they said when you carry the money with a child to a private school, the government, the state government dictate the curriculum to a certain extent. Yeah. And that will be a concern, yeah.
Well, the Michigan Education Association, which is the teachers union, has negotiated that in over the years to say that your money for your child should actually be controlled by the union, and that the union should control the curriculum. And when we look at it today, here are some of the results that Michigan is getting. We rank 34th out of 50 states in public education. In public schools in Detroit, 84% of third graders can't read. And that's not acceptable to me. We have a system that's failing. And I spoke on it earlier today at a small business association event. And I said, what is Michigan's future if our children can't read, if they can't write, if they can't contribute to society? So we've got to fix the schools. It's a major priority. And it is the lifeblood, not only for our state, but for our communities and for our families. Because when children fail, they ultimately make bad decisions on a personal level that directly impact the family in a negative fashion. And we can help. The state should assist. It shouldn't be in the way.
So in that case, there should be something done on the teachers union.
Well, I think that if the teachers union is willing to change their tune and be held accountable and allow for children to learn in a proactive environment versus being indoctrinated, and that's a strong word, but recently the Democratic Party in Michigan posted on their webpage that kids in public schools should only be taught what the community wants them to learn. And think of that. That's not America. That is a socialist or a communist structure of indoctrination. And I will do everything I can and anything necessary to defeat that and to bring people together versus to separate them with teachings like critical race theory. I just had a debate the other night and with public school teachers, and they said that the most important thing for them is the mental health of children. They don't care if they can read, they don't care if they can write, they don't care if they can contribute in the future to society. And I said, I didn't realize that mental health was part of public education. They're related, but they're separate. And they were giving up teaching to be unqualified in dealing with mental health issues. And that shows you what we're fighting against. They've lost focus. They have poor leadership and poor direction. And we have a governor right now that wants to pay him a bonus for simply showing up with no accountability. That's your money that she's using. Schools are going to be tough. And I'm willing to fight it. You know, I'm willing to fight for your kid, and I haven't even met him.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Kevin.
you. You see the problem. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin, just can't help have a little comment here. When you said the teacher talking about mental health, it's so hypocritical when they shut down the schools, okay, for almost 2 years, like Ann Arbor.
Yes.
They put where's kids' mental health? I mean, the stats already show the mental health went downhill like crazy. Those suicide rate went up 50%.
Yep.
Because of the school shutdowns. The kids could not see their friends, could not participate. They're isolated. Where is the mental health for this hypocrite?
It's completely hypocritical, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to be held accountable. Children need to socialize. Children need to interact. Children need to learn about society from their peer groups and experience the beauty that creates. And then, that fire that they can have with learning. How exciting is it to learn and to excel in whatever path you want to pursue? And America is the only place that offers that. And here we have teachers currently in Michigan that are trying to restrict it. It's wrong. It's hypocritical. And if I'm elected your governor, or when I'm elected your governor, you have my commitment that I'm going to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Education is definitely one of the most important items to our community.
Yes, education breeds respect and breeds citizenship. And education actually allows people to participate within the community constructively. It's vital. It's right there with food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the next person asked question is Ning. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you and hear you. Hello.
Hello, Kevin. How are you? My name is Ning. Thank you very much for spending time with our community, with us. So I was going to ask you the first question about education, but Rui Hua took the chance. Now I was going to mention about the mental health, then Gary took my line. So I'm going to move on to my next question on my list. So before tonight's meeting, I was reading your webpage, your campaign page under the issues page, and you listed 8 items. And those are the issues I care about, all of them. I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit of each one of those. I know in the beginning you introduced yourself and then you said probably 1 or 2 sentences of each thing. And outside these 8 issues, one item I had in mind is about the road construction, the fixing the dam road. Yeah. That was supposed to happen in the past 4 years, but never happened. And I think you mentioned about the infrastructure. So giving my chance to ask you one question, this is the one that now listed on your webpage. So can you talk about what is your plan to fix road? Everyone living in this area, Metro Detroit area, especially in Wayne County and Oakland County, we all live this issue almost every single day. And I'm driving on 8 Mile Road every day or every week between Back Road and Haggerty. I think many people on the line would agree with me. And the pothole, the number of the pothole is insane. The size of the potholes is insane. They're as big as the width of the whole road, both lanes. And when the weather is bad, when it's dark or there's a puddle and you just don't see them, it looks like a puddle of water. So what is your plan to actually fixing the road? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So currently we have an approach to infrastructure in Michigan that we spend money to put Band-Aids. We actually build in obsolescence versus trying to eliminate obsolescence. And for starters, what we need to do is change how we build a road and look at it as a long-term investment versus as a nuisance or as an ongoing expense. Other states use different standards and different materials than Michigan. And correspondingly, it costs a little bit more upfront, but saves millions and millions of dollars over the long term. And that's a leadership issue. That's a philosophical approach. I want to invest in our infrastructure versus spend money in our infrastructure to put Band-Aids on. And the technicality of how to road build, I don't know. I don't think that you're asking me, but if you are, it's how we build our foundations. It's the weight of the cement. It's how we make our asphalt. It's when we perform our road work versus if we perform our road work. It's how we prioritize. And Michigan currently allows for every community to have their own standard of road. So construction firms can't come in and build the damn roads the right way. They're forced to comply with bad standards in multiple communities. And that's why we have inconsistency. And on 8 Mile, you've got a great example. They try and spend the least and put Band-Aids on it, and it's constantly failing. And I guess it's good for road builders and it's good for politicians, but it sure isn't good for the citizens. Okay. So I think I've answered your question. It's a philosophical difference. We're going to do it right the first time.
So when you say do it right the first time, I think there might be a dilemma there. I would imagine for any politician in the position, either as a road commissioner or as a governor, you probably want to fix the road, but your budget will be limited and your term is only 4 years or 8 years. So naturally, you may only want to look at the short-term effects, the short-term return. I think that might be what happened in the past. The road was fixed with very bad quality.
Yeah, for me, I'm different. If I can do 20% of the roads and fix them appropriately in my 4-year period, then I'm going to do that 20% properly. And I'm going to prioritize, and I'm going to show the state that we can get value and do things right. But we have to start somewhere. Otherwise, we're in a never-ending trap of just spending versus investing. But as I build those roads, we can upgrade the other services and infrastructure items that go with it. And Michigan has more money today because of COVID than ever before. And if you have a businessman who understands how to allocate that properly versus paying off political favors, we actually can get results. We collected $1.8 billion more in taxes than we've ever collected. And it was $1.8 billion more than our state thought we were going to collect. We were then given $18 billion from the federal government to allocate in fashions that we want to allocate it. We have more money today than we've ever had. And the opportunity to fix the damn roads and to fix them properly is now.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I will hold you responsible to your words if you're elected.
You know what? I will look forward to that. I'm not going to get to all of them, but everyone that I touch is going to be done right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think another question comes from Xiaohui. Can you unmute yourself?
Sure, yeah. Hi, hello, Kevin. Thank you for meeting us today. My name is Xiaohui. I have a question regarding, you mentioned that you were thinking about leaving Michigan at one point. And other than, maybe trying to leave the harsh winter weather, which a lot of people do, I'm just curious, what are the top 2 reasons that you were thinking that you wanted to leave Michigan because of maybe the issues that you faced, or you think Michigan didn't do very well, that's not enough to attract you to stay? And then if you are elected, how are you going to address those top reasons?
Well, for starters, I have 3 children, and my kids all want to live in Michigan. And when I say that I contemplated leaving, it's because it was on my mind. And I was leaving because I was concerned about the future of our state. And I'll give you some examples of why I'm concerned. This particular administration just proposed a $74.8 billion budget. 4 years ago, the budget was roughly $53 billion. It's a 50% increase in 4 years. I don't want Michigan. The Michigan I grew up in didn't look like California when it came to governance, and didn't look like New York when it came to governance. And so we need to make tough decisions to get our educational system back on track. We need to set aside partisan politics that prevent us from moving the state and the people within the state forward. So as I said earlier, as a leader, I've proven that by creating an environment for the people I lead to be successful in, that we can get exceptional results. And I'm going to give you an example of a politician who couldn't see or didn't have a vision. And if you supported Donald Trump, there was a time when Barack Obama said, what's Donald Trump going to do? Snap his finger and just create jobs for people? And Barack Obama was being sincere. He couldn't see a better America because he'd never experienced it. And what did Donald Trump do? Created a vibrant economy, created the lowest unemployment rates we'd had for many, many years. For minority groups, the fastest growing income segments were within the minority groups. The fastest and best employment opportunities were growing at a significantly higher percentage within those groups. I have a vision for Michigan, and I can enact it. It starts with education. It goes with infrastructure. We strengthen law and order, and we apply those laws the way they were intended, not the way judges or prosecutors think that they want them applied. We have to respect our environment, and we have to work with our farmers and our agricultural people versus against them. And we have to take advantage of the small businesses that currently exist in the state to stabilize our economy and use that as the nucleus to grow it. And then we'll go out and we'll hunt for bigger businesses that can contribute. But here's one thing that I want all of you to understand. Post-COVID, Michigan ranks 42nd in economic recovery out of 50 states. The top 20 states have 2 of them that are Democrat. 18 of those states are Republican, but when you look at their governors, 17 of the 18 governors were private business people who were elected for the first time. And they're applying visions, and they are looking and creating environments for their people to be successful in. And that's what I believe in. And that's what I've done in my private businesses, in my public businesses, in my automotive businesses, and in my healthcare services businesses. And that's what I want to do for you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Any other questions from our audience? I did not see any hands and any questions in the chat window.
I hope that's not an indication that I did such a great job that nobody wants to ask me.
Looks like you did. Yeah. Yeah, I do have a few questions myself to be ready for the moderator tonight. So I read almost every line on your website carefully. So yeah, I do have a few questions.
And when you're done, Cindy, I'd like to ask some questions too.
Sure, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I see another hand. It's Rui Hua. You back to question? Yeah.
With another question, with the COVID concerns, okay, I think many of the people here begin to lose trust to the healthcare system. And I think Karen, you are the only one that have been, working at the, had the experience with healthcare systems. Is there a way you can think, to regain the trust?
Yeah, what's interesting, and COVID was a terrible virus. And we in Michigan did a very poor job of managing and protecting those that were most vulnerable. And we used autocracy and political science versus medical science. Mm-hmm. What a lot of people don't realize is more people died because they were denied treatment than died from COVID. Yeah. It's a tragedy. And we took hospitals that were here to serve people and gave them a financial advantage to turn away those in need and use COVID as an excuse. Mm-hmm. It's really, really wrong. So yes, we can start to build trust because we're going to take away the financial incentive that says, if you put COVID down, we'll pay you 20, 30% more, and will allow you to turn away people that need services that only hospitals can provide. We're not going to incentivize them the way it's been. And the numbers play out. We can't continue to have major hospital mergers that change the levels of service. There's some that are going on right now that candidly I would object to as governor within the state because they become too big and then they stop serving the people and they start manipulating insurances and the services that they provide. That's not what they're there to do. So I think we can rebuild trust. I think we open those hospitals up. I think we get back to normal as quickly as possible. I think as it relates to COVID, we protect the most vulnerable and we allow people to make decisions that keep them with their families, that do everything within their powers to keep them healthy and to keep them out of hospitals in the perfect scenario. So it's an attitude. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I think I can ask my question. So Kevin, as the business owner yourself, right? Yes. I wonder, how do you feel about Michigan's business environment in general, and whether it is really friendly, business friendly, especially to the small business and to our young people in new technology field. And also I'm wondering, it looks like it's trend, like most of Silicon Valley companies, they build second or campus or headquarters in other states. So recently, Intel built a huge campus in Ohio. And I remember Amazon built a second headquarters in Long Island in New York area. So do you have any plan to attract this kind of business to make Michigan in general more diversified economic model?
Yeah. Great question. Again, when I talk about creating an environment for people to be successful in, the first thing we need to do are take care of the small businesses that already are here in Michigan. And our business climate is not friendly. And what we see is government is forced to offer incentives.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yep, no worries. Government is forced to offer incentives that really don't help the state and put small businesses in many instances at a disadvantage. So my approach would be to take a whiteboard and study the top 5 business climates in America. And they actually rank each state, and Michigan ranks very poorly. It's not in the top half for business climates in the country. And we're going to look at the top 5. And I work with people like ex-President Trump's economic advisor, Steve Moore, to take that philosophy, and we're going to whiteboard Michigan and say, what makes it competitive? What makes it uncompetitive? And how can government get out of the way and support small businesses? And as we generate that small business environment, then I want to go out and look at what I call the larger businesses and hunt for the types of businesses that are specifically viable to Michigan. And Michigan is very, very unique in emerging technologies and aerospace. And no governor in our history has ever taken the opportunity to maximize, for instance, low orbit satellites, which is an emerging technology that Michigan has a very, very unique environment to operate those in because of how our airspace is controlled. And we need to take advantage of that. We're the only state in America that can do the testing, can do the technology, can do the implementation. And instead of having to pay incentives to bring small business and private business that will support and grow that area, what we'll do is we'll force the government to come in and invest in Michigan, which will enhance education, which will enhance our tax structures, which will help us accelerate our infrastructure repairs that are necessary. And it's a long-term strategy that is currently being implemented on a very small scale in one of our counties, but is being blocked actually by this current governor's administration. It's beyond me. But aerospace and the space systems, which bring in families, which bring in highly educated people, which bring in high-paying jobs, those are all the things that Michigan needs. And because of where we're located and our uniqueness, all we need to do is get them going. They will come, and we'll build it if I'm your governor.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we do need more high-paid job and to attract our young people to stay in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, just now I saw Snow. I think you raised your hand. Do you have a question for Kevin?
I have questions for you.
Sure. Yeah, if audience, no question, definitely, Kevin, it's time for you to ask us any question you have.
What are the key issues in Michigan for the Chinese community?
Yeah, anyone want to jump in to answer the question? What's your issue? Most important issue for you in Michigan?
Hey, Cindy, maybe I can try a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so Kevin, basically, so we chatted a little bit before, is, Chinese Americans, we most here are the people who came from China mainland, and they came to America, believing this is the, land of opportunity, the land of equal opportunity. And just like you said earlier, the Asian Americans, Chinese Americans being big part of it is really in embodiment of the American dream, right? Is a family value, discipline, community, and personal effort and work ethics. But we have seen more and more such trend in the society that actually discourage the Asian Americans for being, so some news organization like a New York Times or CNN even call us kind of a privileged or overrepresented, you name it. Or so this is the one area I think we're concerned that we are not giving the opportunity, or actually deprived the opportunity, to compete for kids' education. Unfortunately, Michigan is one of the few states left that make the college admission that not a racial based. We're going to keep this way, right? So that's one area I think people were concerned about, equal opportunity for us. And the second, I think, is out of the 2020, turmoil of all the lootings and burnings and defunding police, and we heard a lot of tragic events occurring in big cities, pretty much 100% in blue state cities or blue cities, that Asian Americans were attacked. Partially because of people talking about Asian hate, but I see that more of a deteriorating public safety because of the maniacs calling for defund police or demonize police. And we heard that in Western Michigan, for example, the police have trouble recruiting. Okay, those are the concerns for us because we definitely depends on the police to protect the safety of our community. So that would be the second one. And the third one I will see here is about the business opportunity that you already talked about. And so we see our kids leaving the state because there's not many opportunity or nothing exciting about here. So we got to change that. We have one of the top-notch University of Michigan and MSU and very, very good institutions here. But we could not attract people to stay, and including our kids. So that's another concern, we face here. So anybody else want to add to this, please?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Yes, I want to say I agree with Gary. So these three definitely, safety, education, and opportunities are the three major things for Chinese community, and equality opportunities for us. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that those are three major things in what I believe in and what I think are critical to Michigan? And it's so unique that people that want to do right and good for their communities are frowned upon. And that's a lack of leadership. That's a lack of leadership. And you have my word that we will have safer communities and that we're going to support law and order. And you have my word that citizens and Chinese citizens in the state of Michigan will be treated as equals.
Chinese Americans.
Right. Chinese Americans, absolutely.
Right.
It will be treated as equals, as you should be. America is the land of opportunity, and you have a right to participate in that, as do your children. And government needs to ensure that of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's not only in our federal constitution, but that's in our state constitution, roughly the same standard of what government is supposed to do. And it takes people that are willing to be public servants, who want to give back, who don't care about auditioning for their next job in government, to do bold things. And I'm not auditioning for my next job in government. I'm willing to give back to this state, and I'm willing to give back to the people to represent all of them and to create that opportunity. So Gary, I hope that I earn the respect and the commitment from the Chinese American community and the Chinese American community in Michigan. Our values are aligned. Our goals are aligned. Our work ethics are aligned. And it sounds to me like our commitments are aligned.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have other questions for us?
How can I get the Chinese community to engage with my campaign, to spread the word among the community and to participate at whatever level? What can I do at this stage for you?
Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I think this is a very good question, Kevin. I think really at this point, and for this kind of event that we're doing in the Zoom meeting, we also like to see, encouraging our community members to participate in the process, to join a campaign, for example. For example, one of the things we talked earlier with Marshall is we'll get the forms for signatures and try to get more signature for your the race and make sure we can meet the 15,000, right? The signatures, to get on the ballot. And also keep in mind, Kevin, we also have, several of the members here are precinct delegates and likely will be present at April 11th conventional, the endorsement convention, and also in August primary as well in the convention. So we're, participating. So if I say, what you can do, if you're elected governor, I would like to use any opportunity to call out to the Asian American community, because many of us actually, not people here, most people here are conservatives and they know who they got to vote for. But to be honest with you, I think a lot of them, I would say even majority of the community, not being political aware and did not vote to align their own values just because they didn't really listen to they just listen to the mainstream news and say, hey, GOP are racist and and anti-immigration, and the Democrats are more, tolerant and stuff like that. And we know those are lies. And the actual, like we talk about, those values are really highly aligned with the conservative values, Chinese Americans, Indians Americans alike. So if you're elected governor, or doesn't matter what, use any opportunity to make those messages across. And so we get more Asian Americans to realize their true values and the true alignment of political activities. So that if after anything, I would say that's something. We're trying, but still not very public figures. I think have bigger voice for that. So,
well, I would welcome the members of your community to participate in my campaign, and I would be proud that they participated in my campaign. And again, I don't offer, Gary, my word to coerce, or I offer my word because I mean it. And you have my commitment. And Cindy, you have my commitment. If there is anything that I can do between now and the primaries or now in the election, please reach out to my team. I am happy to respond to it and participate in any way, because I value what you bring to Michigan. And I value the fact that you are willing to engage to make our state better for all people, as well as Chinese American people. It's really compelling to me. I congratulate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah, Sharon and we had some conversation. We may organize some event to pass more words regarding your campaign to our community. So yeah.
I would greatly appreciate it, and it would be an honor, again, to have you participating.
can add a couple of words that today's session is being videotaped, correct, Cindy?
That's correct.
Yes.
So similar to the past 10 other candidates that, so the video will be uploaded to MICCA's YouTube channel and the Telegram channel. And then we broadcast it to the internet discussion groups, the social media groups. We have a few hundred families we can reach through that way to get words out. And some people actually even came to us individually saying, hey, we missed this candidate that day. Where is the link to the video that night? So we'll send to them. So this is a way we can get the words out. And people have been asking us that questions.
Well, good. I believe, because I'm a businessman, that I need to earn your respect and earn your trust and earn your vote. And the way to do that is to engage. And so I'll look forward to that as we go forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kevin, if I may ask a question regarding the campaign, if I may. So understand, right? I'm very excited to have Marshall join you from Glenn Youngkin's team. And as I said earlier, right? I mean, Virginia is like every state, Republicans are looking for and looking up to, and try to copy the model to be successful in 2022 midterm elections. So what's your biggest takeaway from Glenn Youngkin's campaign? You believe that's very important to be successful?
Well, I think that if you run on the issues and you're willing to do the right thing for the people, that all of the traditional tactics that tear down, that destroy, that are negative, can be pushed aside, and that people will see that you're trying to do, as what I said earlier, Gary, public service, to give back, to do what's right, and to have government stay within the role that it's supposed to play, which in America means that it's smaller, not larger, that it doesn't restrict, that it unleashes the ingenuity and the enthusiasm and the energy of the people so they can do what is right for them. And that's my takeaway on the Youngkin campaign. And I've met with Glenn. I have 2 members of the Youngkin campaign that have joined my team in different capacities. And that's a campaign that I'm going to run. And I hope it works here in Michigan.
Very excited to hear that.
Yep, that's great. Yep. I think we are on top of the hour. Do we have anything from the audience? So if no, I think that will be all for tonight.
Thank you
so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much for meeting us, Kevin. Good luck to your campaign.
Yes, and I will come back anytime that you would like, and I will look forward to meeting you all personally. Take care. Have a good evening.
Absolutely, Kevin. And looking forward to meeting you in person pretty soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Now, good night.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.